Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday to all of you. I was gonna say happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor today. I'm back for Larry tomorrow and Friday. Sitting alongside my good friend Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
It is 8:07 a.m. here on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. We're very excited. We're going to have Anna Giartelli on with us at 8:35. Boy, I can't get that out, can I? I need Suri to do the show for me as well, Julie. She is a reporter for the Washington Examiner. See, I listen to you when you talk. Washington Examiner, and she's an assault survivor. We're going to talk about what's going on with crime in D.C. Very excited. I follow her on Twitter. You should follow her as well. Her name is Susan Ferrechio. She's a national politics correspondent for the Washington Times. You can find her at Susan Ferrechio on social media. And Susan, I guess we're still doing this thing. Congress is coming back into session. We haven't learned our lesson from the past, but we certainly haven't learned our lesson from the past regarding government shutdowns. What's going on as Congress comes back to Washington, D.C.?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, yes, you put it perfectly. There has never been, in the past 2 decades, a real resolution to these spending fights, and so they're at it again. They are back from their recess that was several weeks long throughout August, and now they're facing this real crunch time on passing the federal spending bills. The deadline is September 30th. That's the end of the fiscal year. And so if in an ideal world, they would have passed individually the 12 spending measures that fund the federal government, and that would have passed through both chambers and been signed by the president all ahead of the end of the fiscal year. But that hasn't happened in a really, really long time. So here we are again, trying to kind of cram everything through at the last minute. And
right.
So it's September 3rd, which gives them several weeks now. People would say, well, geez, that's no time at all. But for Congress, it's a long time. They've got a few weeks to really argue about things. They just came back yesterday, and so the bickering has just begun. And it looks like a lot of the fighting, of course, is going to center on President Trump, surprise, surprise. And that's one of the big sticking points now in the Senate is the president wants to use an unusual tactic known as the pocket rescission and try to claw back some money. Remember, he ran on one of his many promises was to reduce the spending in Washington that has gotten so out of control. So he wants to claw back some money. And you know, Republicans would normally go along with that, most of them, because they say, great, let's stop spending so much money and put some back in the Treasury. But what it does is it makes it more difficult for them to negotiate with Democrats who clearly are not going to go along with it. And there are some Republicans like moderate Lisa Murkowski of Alaska who doesn't like it either, because let's face it, Congress really has only one job. They can come to Congress and sit around all day and do nothing, but they have to once a year pass spending, or more, in their case, more than once a year, because they can't get it all done at once. So they are very territorial about this. They don't like the other branch usurping that power from them. So that's a big sticking point right now. And the other really interesting storyline going on Capitol Hill right now are the Epstein files that have kind of sucked all the oxygen out of the room over on the House side. And that is because there are a couple of lawmakers who are pushing for a discharge petition, which is another special tactic that you can use to try to force a floor vote. And they're collecting signatures. They need 218 signatures. And they are, I think, 2 votes away from probably accomplishing that. They need 2 Republicans. But it's gotten super interesting, though, guys, because the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking ring were on Capitol Hill yesterday, meeting with lawmakers. They'll be back today talking to the public. And they are expressing real concerns
Susan,
that some of these files will expose them, and they want protection.
So I guess Nancy Mace left a meeting in tears yesterday over this. But here's my question, right? As we're doing this, because the Democrats finally are all about getting the Epstein files released. Maybe that's where the horse trading can come in. Hey, let us claw back this money, and we'll go and we'll release these Epstein files. But also, this discharge petition is putting a bunch of Republicans at odds with the White House, isn't it?
That's right. So they've come up with sort of a secondary measure. Usually in a case like this, like the Republicans will come up with something similar, but not as politically uncomfortable, and that gives them sort of plan B, vote for this, and it looks like you cover for yourself. But I think the other issue, I think it's losing steam in some ways, because last night the House Oversight Committee, which had subpoenaed the Justice Department for these documents, received the first tranche of documents from the Justice Department. They uploaded them so the public can review these files, all 34,000 pages. Wow. That will, I think, sap some of the energy from this effort to push this vote on the floor. Now, these Republicans and Democrats who want the vote, they plan to try to push forward with it, but it's a little less certain now that these victims are expressing concerns about whether they will be exposed or rather protected if this stuff is released the way the House vote would have it done, versus the House Oversight Committee, which is redacting some stuff. Like some of the pages we received last night. I reviewed some of the files, not all 34,000 pages, but some of the pages are just fully redacted. The pages are just blank pages. And there wasn't a ton
Susan,
of new
shame
stuff
on
in
you
there
for
either,
not being able to read all 34,000 last night. Sorry, Julie, I know you had a question.
I'm a speed reader, too.
Yeah.
Susan, really quickly, it seems like daggers are out for RFK. No surprise there. But, Schumer is now calling for him to be dismissed. And the hyperbole is off the chart. He said, Americans are in greater danger every day. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. remains as HHS secretary. I mean, he has assembled just a star staff. Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, who have come to his defense over the last couple of weeks. What do you think in terms of what will there is going to be a hearing, you write, in the Senate Finance Committee. What do you think of, what is the support for RFK up on the Hill? What does it look like?
He's a tough one for, even if Republicans really all didn't like him, which is not true. It would be tough to push someone like him out. He's one of the big stars of the Trump administration.
Right.
He campaigned with Trump. He's one of the pivotal figures in the campaign.
Right.
MAHA is a national movement. Trump loves RFK. So that alone, I think, would make it difficult to weaken him to the point where he is somehow ousted. I know there are some lawmakers who are very concerned, who are Republicans, Bill Cassidy among them, over the vaccine policy, physicians on Capitol Hill who don't like what he's doing. But that, I think it lays right there. He's going to get a lot of scrutiny. And of course, you had the 1,000 HHS workers calling for his resignation following the ouster of the CDC director. So there's a lot of controversy happening. People love MAHA, but they're showing some concern over the vaccine policy. That's where it lays right now, and I think you're going to see a lot of scrutiny on the latter there, where they're really focusing on the CDC and vaccine policies. I don't see him being pushed out at the moment, but he's certainly something there's a buzz about what he's doing right now and the additional scrutiny on him.
Well, Susan Ferrechio, Congress is back. You got lots to cover. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Susan.
Thanks, everyone.
Go and check her out if you don't want to find it can be a tough name to spell. Follow me at Andrew_Langer on Twitter. Sorry, it's been a day. Susan Ferrechio, I will spell Ferrechio. See, I can't even spell it when I'm reading it. But we're following her now. It is 8:15 a.m.